Welcome everyone to Liberal Agencies Television. I hope this video finds you well in your location across the globe. It's been a while since we spoke about politics, and in this video today we just want to touch on politics a bit. The last time we were talking about politics, there were a few areas that I touched that I asked Team Azimio to observe, and as if they were listening, I've seen a few things being done just the way I had proposed. In the last video that we spoke about politics, I asked Team Azimio to watch the role of Jimmy Wanjigi behind Kalonzo Musyoka. He was always behind Kalonzo everywhere. He was following Kalonzo everywhere. And as if they took advice, an event was formed, and I think it was maybe the state was behind it during the event where the Oka principals were signing some deed of assignment. Jirongo, Gideon, Martha, and Kalonzo. And that's from that day, that's when Jimmy started missing. So that was a calculation to watch him. It was a calculation by the state to keep him away from these people, because his role, just like we had already foreseen, he was working for the deputy president. He was trying to draw Kalonzo to Kenya Kwanza coalition led by the DP. So that was dealt with. Another thing that I proposed for Team Azimio, especially to the president, I asked the president to come out and start selling Azimio in the larger gamma. Not only sending signals, but just coming out now clearly to explain why he's on which side, and come out clearly without only sending signals. And we've seen that an event has been organized, the Sagana 3, where I think the president is going to address these matters. So up to that point, I'm glad they also saw what I was saying. So in this video today, we just want to try and figure out the agenda that Sagana 3 is going to bring, or the agenda that the president is going to come with in this Sagana 3 meeting. And before we set in, I just want to take this opportunity to welcome our new viewers, those who have just bumped into this channel today, to please take a second or two and press the subscription button. And also press the notification bell so that anytime we produce a video like this, YouTube will always notify you. Please subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, the deputy president have pulled a lot of surprises on President Kenyatta. One of the surprises is the way he managed to capture the central region or the Mount Kenya region to his side. You know, the president had underrated him. He did not believe that, or he did not think that he could go there and marshal all the support just by himself. But he already done that, and as we speak, the deputy president controls Central more than the president himself. And if elections were called today, Azimio and Kwanza coalition, the deputy's coalition will win more votes than the Azimio coalition, which is supported by the president, if elections were held today. But thank God elections are not going to be held today. We still have like about slightly less than 6 months, which is not long, but it can be, if used well, they can still manage, the president can still manage to grab some few support also now from the deputy president and bring to his side, and therefore bring to Azimio. And the Sagana 3 meeting is going to be aimed in trying to win back the central region. Mostly it's going to be about central region, the meeting on Wednesday. Sagana 3, which is happening just tomorrow, Wednesday. So one of the agendas that the president is going to have is trying to go and try to explain into details to the leaders of Central and Gema, and send them to go and spread the word in the grassroots, the details of why he entered the handshake with the former Prime Minister. You know, largely it has always been said, just generally, that it was meant to bring peace and tranquility in the country, which is a very obvious thing that everybody saw. It cooled down temperatures very quickly, and things started going to normalcy, and things started running very well. But there was more to handshake than just cooling temperatures. And that is something that the president is going now to explain more to the leaders and send them to go and spread the word to the grassroots. Because that's an area that also the president has not come out very well. As opposed to his handshake colleague, who managed to go to his supporters and talk to them about the handshake a little bit and urge them for the support, you know. The former Prime Minister's support base already were explained to what the handshake was all about. And they blended, and they don't have any problem. They embraced it, and they even embraced the other partner in the handshake. But on the president's side, he did not come out clearly early enough to marshal his supporters behind the handshake. On the contrary, a lot of his supporters went against the handshake, falling on traps that the deputy president set to win them. They ended up just being against the handshake because they were largely following the deputy president. And the president did not come out himself early enough to explain to them what it was all about, apart from just being that it was to bring peace in the country. So that is one thing that the president is going to come out clearly and make his supporters understand why he decided to embrace his fierce rival in the just ended elections. Secondly, the president is going to come out clearly and explain more or expose more into what transpired in their fallout with his deputy. Yes, that is something that is going to come out very clearly to tell the leaders of Central and Gema, so that they can go to the grassroots and also explain to the grassroots the cause of their division, the cause of their fallout. Because largely people have just taken it lightly that they split simply because the deputy president started campaigning early. That is just one. But there are also other things that are coming out that led to their fallout. I've had some cases of sabotage where maybe the deputy president was like holding the president to hostage, you know. If you don't do this, I'm going to do this, things like that, so that he can just be the one controlling things. So those kind of competition, he wanted to take control also just as a co-president, you know. And that tussle also is one of the things that made them now fail to work smoothly. Also, there are issues like the issues of corruption. There are a lot of incidences or cases of corruption that were found in the dockets that were being controlled by the people that were nominated by the deputy president. And the deputy president was always very much in a hurry to come out and defend those cases when they were first mentioned, you know. And then when the investigations were done a little bit further, it will come out that truly there's a corruption case here. You remember cases like those of the Aurora and Quimarer, you know. When the story started coming out, the deputy president was quick in rubbishing those claims. But after some investigations were done, now they were found to be true. And also other cases. So these cases of corruptions that were happening predominantly in the dockets controlled by the deputy president is also one of the things that caused the fallout. And those are things that now the president wants to come out and enlighten the wananchi at the grassroots, especially in the larger Mount Kenya region, so that they can understand the reason why where the fallout came from. You know, in trying to just convincing the ground to start now embracing his agenda. And there are also even more grave matters that are arising now, you know, that caused the fallout. You know, you remember recently there was a homecoming event for Moses Kuria when he was coming from treatment in Dubai. Honorable Stanley Livondo exposed some very grave issue there that people have been covering. you know. It has always been said behind the scenes, but now Livondo came out and exposed and brought it out now, you know. Because you remember the case where the president was traveling to Dubai, and then the plane had to turn back and return, you know. People did not, the explanation was not given out very clearly. And now it is being said that there were some traps that the deputy had maybe set for the president, you know. But you know, those are things that come out like propaganda, but they can go a very long way into maybe tarnishing somebody, you know. And by the way, it was this event of this matter of Livondo talking about these matters looks like something that was planned. Livondo, where has Livondo been? Livondo has not been even vocal or, hard speaking in a very long time even. But he comes out just on one occasion and starts just spreading propaganda in an event like that. And Moses Kuria is like coming out to distance himself from those sentiments. Yet this is somebody that he is the one who invited to that event. And he is the one who even listed him as the ones who are going to speak. And I remember when, during that event, because I was following, they were trying to limit the number of people who are going to speak. And some members of parliament were also stood to speak, but they only chose Livondo to speak on behalf. And the Master of Ceremony, who was Kabando, just made it very clear that I'm going to allow Livondo because of the request from Moses Kuria. So and so, return to your seats. So some of the members of parliament were left to go and sit so that Livondo can speak, you know. But after he has spoken all these things, now Honorable Moses Kuria is running away from this whole things that he spoke about and starts asking the DCI to arrest him so that he can be investigated. But to me, I think this was something that was planned to also maybe set the agenda now when they are going to Sagana. These things are going to come out. And these things are going now to be released now to the general population so that they can now start seeing that, oh, so these guys were, these guys fell out simply because of such serious things, you know. Because there was a time recently before Honorable Moses Kuria came from Dubai, the president went to Dubai. It was not reported that they met, but coincidentally, the Honorable Prime Minister was also in Dubai. And it's not a coincidence, by the way. This thing was just planned. It was just planned. It's not a coincidence. It has not been reported that they met, but I just have a feeling that they met. Because there was a time also during those days that they were in Dubai, the Honorable Prime Minister's son, Raila Jr., shared a photo with Moses Kuria. And after he shared those photos, the same day again, he shared a photo of him and his father, the Honorable Prime Minister. You know? So if you look at the clothes he was wearing as he shared the photo with Moses Kuria, he was in the same clothes in the photo with him and the father. That is to say that these guys were together. You know, he shared a photo of him with Moses Kuria, and then he shared a photo of him with his father. And he is in the same clothes sharing with these two different people. This tells you that when these photos were being taken, these guys were just together. Even though they did not come out clear to say that he went to see him or to visit him. And the president was also in Dubai at the same time. So looks like they met, these three people, the president, Kuria, and honorable, Prime Minister, and they had a discussion ahead of this homecoming before it was arranged. And that was happening after also the Deputy President had been in Dubai and met Moses Kuria, and they spoke. And then this meeting of Honorable Raila and Uhuru also happening behind after Ruto has left. And you even saw now when in the homecoming, all the Kenya Kwanza people boycotted that homecoming of Moses Kuria. Why did they boycott? Because initially reports had shown that Ndindi Nyoro was the one to be the master of ceremony. But he was nowhere to be seen. Now Kabando was the one who took over. All the DP Ruto supporters in the larger central Kenya boycotted that event. Because maybe they had wind of the meeting of the president with Moses Kuria together with the former prime minister. And unfortunately, Moses Kuria doesn't want to come out clearly and just clear the air which side he belongs, Because people expected him to come out during this homecoming and say that for me, I'm aligning myself to this side. But he's still playing those cards close to his chest. So, the other thing that the president is going to now face or unleash in this Sagana meeting, he's going to start strategizing the way by which the Jubilee Party can be rejuvenated so that it becomes the Mount Kenya Party. That is also one of the agendas that he's going to bring there. He's going to form a team or talk to the leaders to embrace Jubilee Party as their preferred party. So they should vie on Jubilee under Azimio so that they can now counter UDA or the Kenya Kwanza coalition. That is also the agenda that the president is planning to go and push in this Sagana meeting. And he's going to do that very easily because a lot of the people who will oppose him have already now aligned themselves to other sides. So he's going to just look for some fresh blood, some new crop of leaders who are going to now face off with this other pro-UDA team. And then, it's going to be between Jubilee and UDA. And UDA is already now there's already now some narrative that is being spread in the ground that how come that UDA does not want central parties to join UDA as parties, but he's inviting people like Honorable Musalia, Honorable Weta to come with their parties. But when people in Central want to come with their parties, UDA, led by the Deputy President, is denying them that privilege. But is accepting other people to come with their parties and denying people from Central to come with their parties. So they are already now going to start using those kind of narrative to fight UDA. And they want to ensure that now Jubilee becomes the dominant party for the Central region. Of course, other parties also that come from Centrals are also going to be embraced in Azimio. And of late also the Deputy President is starting toning down he's also like now going to start accepting people to just join with their parties, where he was very opposed. He did not want things like that. He wanted people to just come and join him as members of UDA, not as party leaders. But a bit of now toning down that stand. So those are the things that I see the president going to come out to explain to the leaders in the Sagana 3. Explain why he entered the handshake and make it sink very well. Explain the fallout between him and the deputy president, and expose more things that happened between them. And 3, strategize on how Jubilee can become strong again in Central ahead of the 2022 general election. That's my view, and that's my take on the Sagana 3 meeting. I also remember the last time I spoke about how Azimio are lacking people to spread propaganda. But I've seen people like Livondo now coming up. I think it's going to be used now to be the one also pushing propaganda on the side of Azimio. You know, he's not going to add anything, but just being there and speaking those things carelessly also plays a role. You know, some of these people don't even come with anything, but maybe with some muscle or some clout, but they just come to create some perception that they have come. You see, even somebody like Moses Kuria, if Moses Kuria joins Azimio, it's not as if he's coming with some clout or that is coming with some numbers. No. It's just to create a perception that people are joining this side. And that perception is very important in politics. Because people will start seeing that, oh, so-and-so has gone on that side. So maybe this side now is gaining people. That perception. You know? Moses Kuria is only overrated. I don't think he controls even some considerable number of votes. Even though in a presidential election, every vote counts. So even if he's coming alone, of course he must also have some 2-3 people who support him, who can follow him. But he's overrated. And he should also just come out clearly and say which side he's supporting. Instead of this thing of hiding behind the scenes, playing cards, trying to maybe seek attention to be begged. But I have a feeling that the president will win him. You know, rumors had it earlier, long time, that he was a Trojan horse, you know, being used in the camp of Ruto to hear things. I don't think so, but I just have a feeling that when the time now is ripe, he will come and join the side of the president. That's what I think. And he has also said that he's not going to vie for any post. Those are signs of a coward leader. How can you say you're not going? If you know you are popular and you are liked by people, why don't you go for a seat and be elected? To just say you're not going to run shows that probably you've sensed danger that you are going to lose. You know, and if he stands in another party, I'm sure the person who will stand with him will give him a run for his money. And those are some of the humiliation that he's trying to run away from by just now saying, I'm not going to run. If you don't run, how are you going to come back? You know, a politician, you have to have some ambition. But to say that you want to go and rest, and then after some years now you will come, There's no way you will come. People are going to come and overtake you. You know. So I just wanted to talk about the Sagana agenda, the agendas that I think the president is going to talk about. I don't want to go into so much into other things. Let me just leave it there. And I also think that there's going to be some defections. Some people are also going to defect and join Jubilee, so that it's seen that it's starting to build up in this short while, these few days that are coming. Some people or some leaders from the central are going to now act like they are defecting from their parties to join Jubilee, so that it can create a perception that Jubilee is gaining momentum. So that's also something that we need to look in these coming days. So until we meet in the next video, I want to thank you for your continued support, and may you have a very nice day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God's blessing. Thank you.